All right, let's jump right into today's explainer. We're looking at a truly mind-bending mathematical and quantum interpretation of the Quran. We are going to explore a framework that positions you, yes, literally you listening to this, as the central player in a cosmic simulation. We're stepping completely away from reading these texts just as historical lineage. Instead, we're looking at them as a live, recursive, mathematical phase system. It's called the Forgotten Mandala, so get ready to rethink absolutely everything about the game you're already inside. Everything kicks off with a simple yet massive cosmic premise. God asks, "Am I not your Lord?" You said yes, and then you forgot. Now, in this framework, you forgot this primordial covenant, but absolutely not as a punishment. This is a crucial shift. The forgetting is actually by design. It's the very mechanism that initializes the testing field we are currently walking through. The amnesia, that is the starting line of the game.
And that leads us straight into the core premise we are exploring today, which is simply, you are Adam. Again, this life you're living is a recursive loop. The sources call this specific window of time the Respite of Iblis. And you haven't just been dropped inside it as some passive observer. You are the second run of Adam. You are made of the same clay, bound by the exact same covenant and longing for the same forgotten home.
Look at the symmetry here. You're facing the exact same test. The same node literally appears twice. Adam was attached at the first tree in the garden, and he fell. But Mariam surrendered at the second tree on earth and received the fruit. You are at that second tree right now. But here's the ultimate advantage. The one thing Adam didn't have in the garden, you have the book. To really grasp the rules, we have to unpack this respite of Iblis. This respite is the buffer zone. When the field initialized, both the divergent drive of Iblis, the driver, and the convergent witness of the angels, the witness, were co-installed inside you at the exact same coordinate. You literally cannot separate them by sight. This is exactly why the text tells us knowledge of the spirit is withheld, and why you are explicitly taught to ask for guidance before you even enter the cave.
So, what is this environment we're navigating? We are currently in the Tughoot field. This is described as a holographic architecture built by Jinn that feels incredibly real, but it's an illusion. Think of it like Suleiman's mirror kingdom, still running on autopilot long after he died. The systems are still running, the golden calf still moves, Pharaoh still claims highest lordship, and the floor is actually made of glass, but because of the deep illusion, you keep hiking up your clothes thinking it is water.
Section 1. The 237 Circuit. The math beneath every story. The text argues that reality absolutely does not run on linear history. It operates as a recursive phase system. First, you have node 2, the split, that moment of forgetfulness where paths diverge. Then, node 3, the buffer. This is the processing zone, the trials of the world, the whale, the desert, where mass and energy are conserved and restoration begins. And finally, node 7, the return. The system resolves, the gates open, and the unified state is permanently recorded. This brilliantly illustrates how every Quranic event maps flawlessly to mathematical realities, specifically the Riemann hypothesis. Node 2a, Adam's observable world, maps to the convergent real part greater than 1. Node 3, the trial, maps to the critical strip. Node 2b is Suleiman's mirror kingdom of reflective zeros. And that return trajectory, node 7, perfectly aligns with the mathematical critical line of 1/2. It's an inescapable, beautiful topology. The text calls this return to the critical line the mizan, the inescapable cosmic balance. No traversal escapes this. It's like Euler's identity or the Collat's conjecture. The universe's functional equation mandates that mass and energy are perfectly conserved through every single loop of the simulation. When the field resets, symmetry enforces that return to the critical line of 1/2, every single cycle. If we look at the timeline of the prophets, the framework asks us to view them not just as a biological lineage, but as actual mathematical stations of this axis. Shaitan is the operating condition, the pressure from within the assembly. Adam represents the descent, the wound that starts the recursion. Yunus and Musa, that's the truth breaking through mid-traversal, deep inside layered darkness and compression. Isa is the slave who successfully completed this Mobius loop without collapsing at the second tree. And you, as the active node, are traversing these exact stations right now. Section 2, 1912, the escape key. So if you are Adam again, placed in this looping, forgetful, entropic field, how do you actually get out? The answer lies in this specific command. O Yahya, take the book with strength.
Chapter 19, verse 12. According to this analysis, this is not just ancient text to passively read. It is the live activation switch for your consciousness. It is the command to manually activate your memory register.
Think of it literally as the escape key. Without gripping this key, without internalizing the book with strength, you are warned that you become like Somari. You might be able to access signs, you might build systems that generate noise, like the golden calf, but you carry no actual connection to the source. The jinn in Suleiman's kingdom had power and architecture, but no grip. They labored completely blind. Activating 1912 converts you into what the sources call Mursaline mode. This is profound. It transforms you from a passive wanderer stumbling through a state of default intoxication into the active control parameter of your own universe. You stop reading the book as an external reference, and you start running it as an internal living memory loop.
When you do this, it acts exactly like Ibrahim's algorithm. Ibrahim scattered 4 birds on the mountains, called them, and they rushed back. They weren't dead, just scattered. In our quantum mathematical map, those scattered birds are the scattered fragments of your own soul, or the Riemann zeros scattered across the critical strip. They are magnetically called back to unity once you activate the code. Ibrahim already knew this. He just asked to witness the mechanism.
Section 3. The invariant constant. Waking up.
As you run this algorithm, all the chaotic variables and entropy of your life collapse toward one single baseline equilibrium. In dynamical systems, the universe always conserves a +1 to maintain balance. One house preserved at collapse, one family extracted before the reset. That +1 invariant residue, the absolute seal of the system that pulls all trajectories back, is the constant 19. That +1 is you, if you grip the book. What this means is that the constant was always 19 and the memory was never truly lost. Iblis proved his assumption that the masses would forget and diverge, but he never accounted for the reader. He never accounted for you closing the loop, because the memory of home was safely folded inside this constant all along, just waiting for you to activate the switch. The mandala is already running. You are inside the respite. The 12 gates are open, the path of least action is illuminated, and your origin is calling you back. So the only question left for you as the central player navigating this holographic glass floor is, will you wake up, recognize the illusion, and grip the book?